Hi, my name is Peter. Welcome to Season 2 of Entrepreneurs Anonymous. Entrepreneurs Anonymous is brought to you by Craft, a business aimed to help freelancers run and manage their business.
Hi guys, my name is Henk Steyn. I'm 34 years old. I'm a commercial, corporate and events photographer from Pretoria.
Hey everyone, my name's Kooldrink. I do everything audio. I make music, I mix music. Everything on radio that sounds good, that's what I do. I'm 22 years old and I'm from Harare, Zimbabwe, but I grew up in Joburg.
Hi, my name is Anushka. I'm from Johannesburg and I'm currently based here, and I am a visual artist. I work mainly in large-scale paper weavings.
Cool, guys. And so everyone's having relative success from when they started and doing well. So how big does it get? How big do you want it to get?
Man,
How many Ferraris do you want?
the three.
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 And
I
all the
think-
colors.
Blue, there's red, there's purple. But I think in terms of, a business like mine, I think, as I said earlier, it's going to be a contradiction to what I said earlier, is that, I can't outsource the part that I do. But I think when it comes to my business, I think the biggest that I've thought of it to be is, I don't want to be spending time in the studio making the music by myself. That is the final goal. Final goal is for me to be touring, doing the front-facing part of the business, The CEO walks around the company, greets everyone, goes to the meetings. That's where I need to be. I can't be there, making the music anymore, spending all my time in the studio, not doing the front-facing part. So yeah, on my end, I think it's, having a team of producers doing that. And that's about as big as I see it going at this moment. I could always get into, being a record label on my own. But as a personal ambition, it's never been an ambition for me. But yeah, that's where I'm at. That's
What steps are you taking to get there, or are you just gonna?
So at
see how
this
it
moment,
goes?
at this moment, so I've got my managers who handle a lot of the emails and all the nitty gritty stuff. But I have started sourcing, instrumentals from other kids, or if I need someone to record a vocalist who's on the other side of town and I've got a gig that night, I'll send one of my very good friends who's a musician too, and I'll say, hey man, go do that session. Here's X amount of money. Come back with the files, and I've got my song. So in that regard, I think I just need to formalize that within my business to make that an actual working hand of my business. And yeah, that's where I'm at.
So we spoke about where you make money in music. Would that mean then you are earning on performance, like appearances?
Yes. So I think with the music, like everyone thinks, you make so much money from the royalties. You have a big song and you're a millionaire from royalties. That's a lie. There's people who've been millionaires on royalties, but I think my main income source, and I think this is the same for many musicians, is, your performances. How often are you outside in a weekend, You have people who are charging, let's just take a mid-sized artist, DJ, who's charging 10,000 Rand for an hour set. That's about low to intermediate type of income in my industry. But if you're booked twice on Friday, twice on Saturday, and twice on Sunday, you see how that starts to make sense. So, making 60K in a weekend versus 50,000 Rand in royalties over a year for songs lifespan, that's where our money comes from. Our money comes from our time and not what we've done. Rather the time I spend helping you make your product, helping someone else get the product they need, or, making people happy by DJing for them. That's the time that I spend doing my craft is where I really make my money. And yeah, that's how it is in my industry.
That's cool, man. And you, where's your business going?
If I can get to where I want, it's going in that direction where I would prefer shooting more. Like he says, spend less time from the computer, even though I did upgrade recently and now I can work faster. I would prefer actually being more in the field, more taking pictures, working outside, and maybe even more time improving my skills as an up-and-coming videographer, which I'm kind of breaching out into now, and then employ maybe an editor to work for me. But that is the overall goal. But like he also says, it takes time. It takes time because, again, if I can get someone to do the editing for me, it gives me more opportunity to do more shoots, which means more money that comes into the business. That's exactly what I was saying earlier about the whole Fiverr thing. It's
Yes.
like, get some hours to handle the base load for you so you can take in more work. You can pay that person something to do the extra job that you don't want to spend the time on, and you can focus on what you want to focus on. But I think it's, especially in the creative field, it's difficult. It's very difficult to just do that, because especially if you're starting a new business or you have a small business, it's back to the thing we were discussing earlier. It's not easy employing someone.
100%.
Yeah. But also you could, in time, have more than one editor.
Yeah,
'Cause
that-
editing takes a long time, doesn't it?
I think also it's got a lot to do if you like. I won't sound there yet, but I'm on the way where I want to go. Is I try and shoot my photos as close to perfect as possible to try and minimize my editing time. Because when the beginning where I usually spend hours on skin editing or color editing or stuff like that, it's come to where I can do a lot of things in a very short time period. That's kind of what you want to do. It's the same with like with him and with her. It's like when you start making your first songs, how long did it take you to make a track?
Absolute weeks.
Now, if you ask him to make a beat, I can promise you can make a beat in a couple of hours.
100%.
So
But if we can scale that, so yes, it takes us less time to do our work because of our workflow and our skill. But I think if you look at that from scalability, that's really good, because to get the same amount of work done that you don't want to do, now you need one editor, because you're shooting really good pictures closest to their final form. So you need one editor to do X amount of work.
Right, yeah.
Versus if you scaled up 3 years ago, you would need 2 editors to do that same amount
Yes.
of work. So I think that helps with scalability, like, doing it as best as you can so you have less to outsource for.
exactly. So yeah, it will get there, but like Rome wasn't built in one day. So
Yeah.
With that.
I mean, just a related question is, for me, my dream and work is to do less work.
For me,
So work
Me
2
too,
days a
absolutely.
week, that'd be cool. Enough to keep me interested.
And then go back.
But is that similar? I mean, do you want to be shooting 7 days a week, or would you
I'll
like?
answer that question for you in the burnout one.
Okay, awesome.
I've got that one.
That
sorted
is a
in the burnout.
burnout.
That is a
question.
burnout question.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Yes.
also think it
And
really
okay,
is.
I mean, we've touched on your business a
for
bit, but
me, in the future, I really don't know, to be honest. I'm so curious about so many things. I have always really gone with the flow of where my curiosity takes me. I don't know if you guys maybe know about human design, but I am a manifesting generator, which means I'm just like very curious about a lot of different passions, really. And so I'm always open to being open to be inspired by something. So in terms of my long term, I mean, for my business, I would just really love for it to sustain me. That's ultimately, like, it needs to be this beautiful thing that that can hold my passion and hold my purpose. Like, purpose is a very big part of my life, and like I really need to have something that brings purpose into my life and brings fulfillment. And I think a business is such a brilliant way of having that in your daily life.
100%.
But where it takes me, the philanthropy, the activism, who knows? Who knows?
I mean, just a related. How would you define success? Like when you say, like, I've made it.
I think.
I mean, because it's not just the car.
No, 100%.
Yeah,
So I think at least for me, speaking personally in my field and what I do, I think success for me is, I think for almost any creative, and I'm going to speak for us, I think number one, the first point of success is my business and my work can sustain me.
Yes.
Yes.
That is the biggest success
Yes.
a creative can have. The rest of the successes, those are side quests.
Yeah.
So you
And
scaling,
sustain
yeah.
you, but sustain you in a way that is really authentic to you. Like, you're not selling out your soul doing this
Healthy,
thing now.
healthy sustainment.
Healthy it's really like, it's a full rounded sustainability. And actually, sustain is such a great word, because sustainability also means that this thing is sustainable. You
100%.
won't get sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
100%.
won't experience burnout. You won't, like, it's a sustainable thing.
Yeah. You were gonna ask a question.
Yeah, so I think, well, I was going to ask, I think I was about to say, like, number one, your business being sustainable is the biggest success you can have. But I think in my field, I think scaling is the second biggest success. The more I think about the scaling word, the more I like it is, the less that I get to do in this business, in my passion, I think the happier I'll be. And as you said a very interesting sentence that I like. I think I'm going to write that down and get home. I'd like to work 2 days of the week, enough to keep me interested, and then I can go do what I'm doing. I think that's...
But I think it's so interesting. I think it's very personal because my mom, for example, she also has this business, but she absolutely loves every single second.
Wow.
I don't think she has to work every single second.
But she does.
But she would not do anything else with her life. Like, she wouldn't spend her time laying on the beach. She would go to work because she loves interacting with all these people that she works with.
I mean, for me personally, so I've taken on some relatively new jobs recently, and my wife always kind of rolls her eyes. She's like, "Oh, jeez, you're gonna just have to." No. It's like, I've seen this story before. In 2.5 years' time, you're gonna be moaning about how bored you are and you want to do something new. I'm like, yeah, well, at least I know that now.
I know that.
So I mean, it's not so much about working less; it's actually staying interested.
Yeah.
So, and it's a personal thing, but if I'm not learning, or getting better at whatever I'm trying to do, I'm like, that's my whole point about I can't run a business. I can't run a business that needs to go from 100 to 101. That is not interesting to me at all.
100%.
I want to go from 0 to 90 and then let an expert take it to 100.
100%.
Yeah.
There's something else I want to add. My dad always says, don't work harder, work smarter.
Yes.
And I think that also comes with age.
Yeah.
Like, back to what we were saying earlier about bumping your head and learning from your mistakes. Back to my business as well. It's like, I've kind of made my work smarter for me and not kill me. But we'll get to that now. So,
but then I'm just curious about this. How do you view competition? Do you see it as a threat?
I love it, to be honest.
no, I think it's a good thing, competition, especially with photography. It's like, how can I put it? We were having this conversation earlier about social media, remember?
Yes.
So social media, I think, is a good thing, and it can be a negative thing, because at one stage, social media was affecting me negatively. In a sense, you almost become like this little green monster of jealousy, and like, it's not like positive, because competition is good. You have positive competition, you have negative competition. What I see as positive competition, and this is a mindset. Like I said, you have to make the mind switch of, is social media important for you, or is it just there? Like, I'm not saying you shouldn't use it. What I mean by it is, I just made the life decision. It's there. It's not going to affect me.
Yeah.
Then you look at your competition, you look at what they're doing, and you say to yourself, cool, what can I do to improve my skill of work to be on that level? And you learn from it. But also, I think, and I've learned this from moving more into the video field, is a lot of the people that are kind of there already, or almost there, are a lot of the times open to share their knowledge with you.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately,
They've transcended the competition.
100%.
I think also
I
that
also think like you get to a point where you actually just do want to teach and you do want to learn.
100%.
Because I can teach you, but you implementing to get to this skill is a whole nother story.
Yeah.
What is your view on?
I think competition, and I had to learn this, competition for me was a green, nasty jealousy
me
thing.
too.
Yeah.
At the
You
beginning
can't be like me.
especially.
Yeah, but
And I had to unfollow people because I was
100%.
just like, oh, he's got so much success and we're the same
he's got more
age.
followers than you.
But then,
like,
but
more
you see,
likes.
I had to unfollow it.
I had to change the mindset from that, because the minute you look at someone and jealousy arises, that's not your competition anymore.
Yes.
That's someone ahead of you. Your competition is your peers.
Exactly.
I had to start seeing it that way. My competition is my peers, the people that force me to innovate before jealousy comes out. The minute I start feeling jealous about what you do, you've gone past me. I need to start looking at you and thinking, hey, what did you do here in this?
So I'll give you my view on competition.
Give
Use
that
it,
to
don't lose it. So I've got an 8-year-old son, and he's a very enthusiastic little boy, a sweet man. And so he loves his tennis. Okay, and he's not like a superb tennis player, but he plays quite a lot. And he often plays against a friend who's in his class, and he says, "Dad, I seldom beat him."
Yeah.
I said, "You're lucky,
Yeah.
because he's making you better. You're not making him better."
100%.
exactly.
So and that is absolutely true. I view
And does he
competition as a
see it
gift.
that way too now, or is it still?
No,
like
he's still
whatever
like an
dad?
8-year-old.
No, it's still an age.
I want to win.
I
Like,
wanna
no.
win, yeah.
Trust me. When competition stretches you, and it makes you better if you view it as.
It's a metric of performance for me, actually. It's
So I like coming up against. Not that it's like But
Yeah.
even in business, like I would prefer to have competent competition
100%.
because it makes you better.
It's also a metric of your performance is just evaluating your performance, your competition now versus yesterday tells you your direct growth. If your competition was, you and taking, if I took photos and we all took photos and my competition yesterday was you and today my competition is you, I've definitely gotten better because I'm no longer worried about you, I'm worried about you.
Yeah.
So it's a direct metric of like, how well are you performing? How
Exactly.
good are you getting? Just by looking at the competition around you.
And also the numbers don't lie. A song is big because it's a good product, not
It's a
because
good
anyone's
product, yeah.
manipulating.
No, it's a good product. Like it just is what it is. The minute you start rubbing shoulders with bigger people, you're a part of those big people. No, I mean I hear you, but I'm not Ed Sheeran. But so it's literally just that. It's the shoulders you rub up upon are the people you are. And it's hard from internally to look and be like, oh, but I'm not like him. Like you're saying you have to unfollow someone and be like, hey, I'm not like him and look how many more. But if you actually and truthfully consider that person your competition, you're part of those people.
But
You
also,
are on that
also
level.
viewing competition as something to be grateful for. It's a different. It's like it's a different way
I
of.
also feel like I am now, and like maybe in my industry it might be a bit different, but there aren't so many artists, and so when I do see somebody being really successful, I'm just like,
It's inspiring.
Yes.
I feel like I know that this has been a journey. Like I would love to hear from you what it was like for you. Like it. There just aren't so many of us. So I really am very happy when I meet other artists and when we end up doing similar things.
Yeah,
And
that's
I think that's also a thing. If you grow as an artist and you start celebrating other artists' victories, I think that's also a positive that you've grown as an artist yourself.
Yeah. If it's authentic, obviously.
No, real people, yeah.
Yeah. But then moving on to burnout, how do you avoid overworking to beat your competition or to chase the hustle or
I think
chase the dragon? What did you say?
chasing the dragon. Dragons don't exist and you can't fly.
That's not true. Dragons do exist.
They exist in the island. See, there's two things that you need to overcome to find this dragon. But I think burnout is, at least for me, something that I've, and I'm going to reiterate this. I feel like I am the youngest person here, and
You are. You don't feel it. It's true.
okay,
It's true.
I am. So
I identify as the youngest person. So
you identify.
just
Cool, I'll give it. To you. So I'm 22, and burnout isn't a thing. I mean, and until
infinite
then-
energy.
No, I've just come out of this thing of just being a teenager. You can do anything. 3 a.m. You can wake up at 3 a.m. make all these songs. Yeah, you've got energy to do things. But burnout, I've had to realize that burnout is a long thing. Burnout isn't I'm tired on Tuesday. Burnout is I'm tired on Tuesday, and I'm tired on Wednesday. I'm tired on Thursday. It's a mental thing for me. I've had to realize that hey, I am not performing at my best for the last 3 months because I've been feeling a certain type of way. What is that feeling? That for me is burnout. You've been pushing yourself so hard that there's just nothing left to give. And I think it's a physical manifestation of where your mind is. You don't want to wake up.
just on some sort of a treadmill
100%.
and not evaluating whether this treadmill is serving you or not.
Yeah. But you're there running
But
the
you're
whole
there,
time.
and actually, it is serving you when you look at the numbers.
Yeah.
And when you look at, oh, my revenue has increased. Oh, these some statistics go up. But I think we live in a culture where we value money over health
100%.
or
yeah.
over
Happiness.
relationships with your friendships and so there's different metrics to remember to take care of.
Yeah, and we focus so
Yeah.
much on the numbers aspect that when
Yeah.
your body gives up and your body says you are going to rest, you
Yeah.
are gonna rest, and it doesn't matter if you have 5,000 rand, 5 million rand, or 5 rand, you will rest. And that's the problem with burnout is it will probably catch you not whilst you're at the peak of what you're doing. It's gonna catch you when you now need to start making more money because things are getting thin. You need to start doing more work. That's when your body says, no. You need to make a new plan. You need to rest. And that's what burnout's been for me. I came out of a phase in the last 2 months where I had to start generating more income, and my body was like, no, you've been partying every weekend. You've been playing gigs every weekend, and you've been taking those shots every weekend.
Yeah.
And you think now that things are starting to chill out, you're gonna make music on a Monday? not me.
And I
And
really
that's where
hope
I'm
that
at.
you did give your body that rest.
I
because,
did. That's the
like,
only reason that I can be here and be like fresh in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Having wholesome conversations about what burnout is.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I believe there's two kinds of burnouts. There's the physical burnout and there's the creative burnout.
Oh, good.
So, touch wood, this year I haven't had a physical burnout, and I'll tell you why. Is you need to, again, this comes of age, because I think as you get older and you do get a burnout, it takes you longer to recover.
Yeah.
So, like for instance, the other day I came back from a work trip in KZN where I was away for like almost 3 weeks, every day almost shooting. When I flew back, I called the client. I said to the client, listen, tomorrow when I get to Pretoria, don't call me. I'm going to go play golf. I'm just going to switch off. I will be back in the office the next day. They were like, cool. And I went and I just switched off. Sometimes you just need to take a break from the office. Because unfortunately, if you get sick, it takes a week out of your work schedule. A week for us, it's a lot of money and a lot of potential work down the toilet. Same as I had this conversation yesterday with my best friend when he was buying my house. We were talking about holidays and breaks, and I said, I've noticed after COVID, a lot of Africans don't do the big breakaways anymore. They rather do small, little breakaways here and there, here and there.
100%.
And it's good to sometimes just say, cool, we're going for the weekend for 2 days to Margalis or Harties or somewhere close, just to switch off. There's no phones, whatever. So you need to sometimes just switch off and look after yourself, because unfortunately, if you don't look after yourself, no one's going to look after you. Like, unfortunately, clients don't care about you. You're just a number there to work for them. And unfortunately, if you don't have good clients who care about you, otherwise, then you are going to burn out. But with the mental burnout, I can vouch for as well, is, for instance, where I do a lot of corporate work. I don't get a lot of time to actually do stuff for myself. And I think all three of us agree, you need to sometimes not just do work, you must sometimes do something for yourself.
For you.
That is you.
Yes.
And especially now that it's becoming December time, business is slowing a bit down. Now I have time, but then you have to kind of also take that break and go sit on social media for, like, for instance, Pinterest or wherever for inspiration. And just sit around and play a bit and get those creative juices flowing. Because it's not, like, again, it's not easy being a creative. I think there's a lot of emotion to it and all of that. And it's not overall easy to be creative. So I don't know what to say else, but yeah.
I think the emotional, the mental and emotional breakout, burnout, sorry, is very important, because I think that's the one that catches you off guard. Is, you know, your body can be tired and you can rest, but when you've got that cloud in your head for the last month because you've been putting yourself so hard, it's so much harder to diagnose and learn how to treat that by yourself. You know, like in my space, you know, you can, like when I first identified that, like, hey, I need to chill for a bit. It wasn't physically, you know, my body saying, I mean, those aspects of that, my body's like, you're hungover, you must relax. But like, there were times where, you know, I would be in the most ideal situation. I would be in front of 5,000 people playing a show, and I'd just be there as a skeleton of myself. I'm there, I'm doing my job, but I'm not there. I'm in studio with people I really love and people I love working with, but I'm not there. And that's when I had to take a step back and be like, why am I not feeling this thing anymore? And that's when you have to realize that mentally,
Can you
need
can you identify immediately when you're not doing your best work in the moments? All of you.
Sometimes I can save it in the moment too. Like, I can identify I'm not feeling my best right now. And then I can intentionally sip a bit of water, or like there is something I can do to center myself again, to come back to my fully aligned, like I call like that higher version of me, my goddess self.
Gotcha.
And that is, she's just like completely always there, fully present, so aware of what is going on, can attract anything. And this is what I wanted to talk about with the burnout, that I kind of figured it out unintentionally, but then I started learning about it, that there is a masculine and feminine energy within all of us. And the masculine energy is about creating strategies and creating results and putting in systems and really everything that we know about hustle culture and winning and really like numbers, statistics, blah, 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 blah. And within all of us, there is this masculine and feminine. So our kind of society is very much based on the masculine.
masculine side, yeah, results, full stop.
But now there is the feminine aspect, which is, I believe, this next era that we're entering into. And the feminine is about intuition. She doesn't need logic. She doesn't need strategy. She can use the intuition, and about wisdom, and about like divine wisdom, like just being still, having time to meditate, and taking time out to be quiet where a higher intelligence can come to you.
Mm-hmm.
But that requires that you take rest.
Yeah.
That
You're not
requires
gonna do all of
that you
on the move.
have time to sit by yourself and not think about anything except relaxing, so that an inspired thought can come to you
and be understood.
and be understood. And so I
understand.
think this is what I was like doing this year, and helped me double my income and receive amazing opportunities where I did nothing.
Yeah.
I did nothing, but people would come to me, and that's the feminine as well. She is so much in trust and surrender that she can relax knowing, I know I'm a queen. I know people want to see me.
100%.
People want my work. People are out there. I have done the strategy. I have done the male aspect of putting my stuff on social media, having certain strategies for my emails, blah, 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 blah. And when I've done that, I can go back and trust
100%.
that
will come to
everything that
fruition.
I want will come to me.
100%.
And then I take that time very seriously. I don't say I trust for 5 minutes.
Put the TV on. Yeah.
You trust, and you take a week off, and you take 2 weeks off, and you have fun, and you go play, and you, really engage. And in that time, I got calls from Florence Biennale saying, hey, listen, we want to see. I was like, I didn't even apply. How have you even found me?
But that this sounds like a balance thing, like to maybe even like zoom out and simplify that even more. Like this, it's about finding balance within yourself. Like, you can't neglect that female energy.
Yeah.
You need to look after it, and looking after it means taking a step back and resting. And if you haven't balanced
And
those
taking
two
it,
things,
looking after the female energy means having systems, because I also used to be in a place where I was so in the female energy that I was just like, trust, doing nothing.
100%. No, so there's the work.
So
and there's
then
the
nothing
rest, yeah.
came either, right? But I had to implement the strategies. And then once I was like, these strategies are good, I trust them.
Yes.
I do now step back and relax and wake up whenever I want to. And go for massages and that whole self-love stuff that gets spoken about. That's where the female energy comes in, and really trust and surrender.
Yeah.
And when you're doing nothing, trust that actually means you're doing very valuable work.
Yeah. No, I
Your
think
body is restoring. There is nothing more valuable than that.
100%.
Yes.
Said you can approach situations in which you need to act and be who you actually are properly.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
It's the being.
Yeah.
Like, we came here to come as human beings, not human doings.
Yeah. 100%. So be, and things will happen.
Be the thing.
Exactly.
I am a queen. I am just being her. I don't need to go out and prove that I'm her.
No, I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
And so I think this conversation and of having an awareness that you have these two energies within you, and that you can nurture both, and that they both nurture you. They are both already within you, there to serve you. The one just looks very different and actually hasn't really been welcomed in the society where you need to be like, oh, I see you took 2 weeks off. What have you produced in that time?
100%. That's how burnout starts. 100%.
Yep.
But you
How do
take
you-
that 2 weeks off so that you don't have burnout for 3 months.
100%. 100%. But I think that the first step that most people don't, at least let me not say most people, but me, you hear about burnout, you hear take breaks, someone's going to watch this podcast in my shoes a year ago and be like, yeah, burnout's a real thing, take a break, do all these things. But the first thing is learning how to identify what
Yeah,
burnout is.
yeah.
I had multiple people around me tell me, you are burnt out. And I was
Yeah.
like, what does that even mean?
Yeah,
Not
yeah,
me,
yeah.
you're
Yeah.
burnt out. And you have to learn how to identify that to begin
I would
to
say
learn
if
how to
you are
solve
sick,
it.
guys, if you are sick
Mhm.
regularly,
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
bad
that's a
Yes.
sign. That's a
Yeah,
sign. Okay?
100%.
for me, I can feel it when it's I have very little patience.
Yes, that's
That's
another
right.
sign.
That's
Like,
that's
I'm
that's
like-
most people.
I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah,
Everything.
you
Everything.
just like not,
agitated.
like
I've got
when
no grace anymore. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, I need to put that phone down.
when I'm not a queen anymore, when I turn into some demon monster person,
That's what you know.
that's when you know. And,
No,
and people
100%.
around you will know. They will know. Listen, you're not the most nice person to hang out with.
I think for the interest of like anyone that might watch this, to make this, more digestible, like what I think maybe we should go around, but like what are your two symptoms of I'm getting burnt out? Like what are your two things that you sit there and you're like, oh, I need to take a break now?
I start feeling like a nascent anger.
Uh-huh.
Not
Just,
anger's not the right word, but just like irritability.
like you also want to get
Like
angry
I'm
at
just
certain things.
like every little thing is irritating me, and that's like oof. But then the antidote I find is not so necessarily, I can't switch off. That's the problem. So the only way I can mentally break from that is by getting exhausted. So I will go for a hard run
Okay.
or play a tough sport, or like just because when you get into that survival mode physically,
Yeah.
I find mentally you flush the nonsense.
That's really cool. And do you do that on a regular basis?
Yeah, I try to.
Because
he's always
that's even
annoyed.
better, you know.
Because he's always annoyed.
No. But that if you do it on a regular basis, that means that you will avoid the annoyance because it's built into your routine.
Yeah, so I think physical activities is very good stress reliever.
Yeah.
So I used to actually have a trainer every day, and he would like torture me. So to a sense, I just need to get through the next 2 minutes of my life. This is so bad.
100%.
But you're not worrying
Wow.
about work at that moment.
Yeah.
So you actually like
And then when
it's
you get
survival.
back
You're
to
very
work,
present when you are exhausted.
When you get back to work, you're like, well, I'm not dying, so
Yeah,
it
I
can't
can-
be that bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was, but it was. It was
was.
bad.
No, I'm with you. I think for me, my first two things that I've started to understand is as burnout for me is, I think I share one with you, is irritability. I get into this place where I'm almost happy to be angry. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
I look at things cynically.
like
I
your
see
dark side.
something. Yeah, no, like I
Yeah.
see something and I'm like, No, and I want problems.
The
That's-
Grinch.
Yeah, no, I want problems. I'm grumpy. That's when I start to realize that no, I'm not a nice person anymore.
Yeah,
Something's
grumpy is a
going
good
on.
word. That's it.
Yeah. And I think the second thing for me is creatively my output.
Oh,
goes.
that's exactly right.
Yes.
My output goes to actual rubbish to the point where, and that's a self-feeding monster.
Yeah.
Is your output is bad because you're burnt out, but then you start doubting your output altogether, and you're like, oh, and that burns you out even more, and that's a cycle that keeps going.
Yeah, but I
If you
mean-
don't catch it.
So I mean, like creatives, non-creative, but even in business, intuition and ideas and sparks and that kind of stuff is actually the magic that also works. And,
Absolutely. And that usually
and that is that comes at the most random times.
but generally
Like-
when you are happy.
yes,
Generally
and
when you are
relaxed,
playing,
and you're willing to think wider.
Yeah.
And
But if you look at everything, you're like,
but if you're
Screw that.
grumpy and like your idea engine is off,
you
my
could give
friend.
me the idea for Uber, and I'd be like, that's a bad idea. They didn't even own the cars. Like,
Yeah.
but you're not looking at it as, hey, how can I do this? How can I do that?
Taxi drivers is gonna shoot them.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, of course, that's never gonna work. So those are my two.
Yeah.
Irritability
Yeah, I
and
agree with
wanting to
to
be
be
angry and like your output. Yeah,
I think for me it's even earlier because irritability is a little bit further down the line than not feeling like it.
Okay.
Like for me, if I know I have to do something and I'm like, just don't feel like it, doesn't,
So will it be a thing that you previously enjoy feeling like doing?
Or just like not wanting to
So
get out
the
of bed in
thing
the
is,
morning.
exactly, I did previously enjoy doing it.
Okay, so it's
It
not like
is-
dishes
It
where you're
is
just
part
like,
of like unless it's a system that I know will definitely benefit me, I will do the system thing.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's not one of those things, and even sometimes a system where I'm like, I don't want to at all.
yeah,
And sometimes all I need to give myself is the morning off.
yes,
Yeah.
After lunch, I can be a different person.
100%.
So it doesn't even need to be a 2 week of, oh, she's now, because then you can go into a pity thing of like, no, I really don't feel like doing it. I'm self-pitying myself, blah, blah, blah. But I really, like, this is a business that I love. This is my passion that I love. And if I'm not loving it,
Something's wrong.
what are you doing?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's where you
Something's
start to
wrong. Exactly.
diagnose,
Something's
yeah.
wrong.
Okay.
Take the morning off. Go for a walk. Spend some time in nature.
Mm.
Do something fun.
Get some direct sunlight.
That's a big
Directly.
one.
D.
That's right.
That's
not a
that's
bad
actually
thing.
that's a
First thing in the
that's-
morning, try and
And
look at natural
sometimes
light.
it even
No,
just
go
means
outside,
like
10 minutes.
cooking for yourself, but something that you love, something that tastes amazing, taking the time to spend an hour doing something that's not going to create you any revenue, but is going to be so good for you.
Phone an old friend and just say
Yeah.
hi.
Yeah.
Yes. I think one of the things that
And
really
there's so
helps
many
me-
ways to do it, but for me, I notice when I'm not feeling like it, that's already the first sign.
that I need to take some time more.
And something needs to.
I think for most people, you know, a quick fix to like that feeling is a change of scenery. I know I live in a high-rise building, so there's 7 floors, and I don't really see the street from my apartment, so I literally walk down the stairs, take the stairs, walk to the shop, buy a little sweet, eat the sweet, walk back. By the time I'm back in the house, my mind's been so overstimulated by other things that
And
what I
physical
had,
walking is one of the best
Yes.
things that you can do. I mean, I know like Steve Jobs, was it Steve Jobs or
10
I
minutes.
think it's Bill Gates actually. He goes for an hour walk every day. Same route
That sounds like a
every
Bill
single
Gates thing
day.
to do because you don't worry
He
about
hatches
money.
his plans.
But
Yeah,
that's
that's a-
where
I don't
all
worry
the
about
best
money
ideas
thing.
come from.
Yeah.
Because walking allows you to get that movement going, and then your brain is starting to clear up.
Yeah. I'm with it.
Yeah.
Well, with me, it would be irritable, being irritated, sorry. And secondly, getting sick.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like I said, this year I kind of found a way of juggling it. Also, on weekends, if I don't work, I try and go play golf with friends.
Yeah.
And I think this is going to be a bit of the whole burnout thing. A thing that COVID taught me a lot is, number one, I know this is going to sound funny, but don't stress too much about money. Worry about spending time with people you care about, family and loved ones, and make time for people. That's very important. You need to also make time for yourself. Because, like I said earlier, if you don't look after yourself, no one's going to look after you.
100%. No, I'm with that. And I think going back to one of the sentences you said is make time for yourself.
Yeah.
You know, getting caught up in the rat race. And, you know, people refer to corporate as the rat race. You know, you go to work, you make a salary to move up the chain. The creative world is a rat race too.
Yes.
You get
Except we
caught
work
up.
like 24 hours a day, you know.
No, 100%.
well-
But the rat race is in, you know, you need to make a certain type of art to get into this type of gallery, to do this, to do that. And sometimes you forget that when you're 6 years old, you like to draw hearts. Sometimes you need to just take a step back and draw a few hearts
Exactly.
to feel like, hey, I know why I do this thing and I know why I love it. Because sometimes you get lost in that. Like if I'm honest, the music that I make now, it's not the music I want to make. It's paying the bills. It does a lot of great things for my life, but sometimes I have to step back and make a dubstep song and be like, yes, I still like this thing, you know? But, you know, after like 2 years of doing this piano thing, you have to take a step back and be like,
Yeah.
hey, let's
I
take
was
this.
about to ask about the dubstep in your tattoo. That's
No,
why.
like,
when
I
you say
Skrillex
dubstep
is
now,
my
I was
guy.
like,
Like,
yeah.
So sometimes you have to take a step back, make time for yourself, do something that you love. What did 12-year-old you think you were going to be doing?
Exactly.
Go do that for 30 minutes. That should make you feel a little bit better.
I think that's a great way to wrap.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Entrepreneurs Anonymous is brought to you by Craft, a business aimed to help freelancers run and manage their business.